Hi, welcome to Come Up Higher 2020. I'm your host, Shalina Steeson. I just wanted to add a small video of something also that the Lord was saying and just impressing upon my heart for those of us that feel like God is raising us up to be mothers and fathers, just giving to these younger generations. The Lord was putting upon my heart to share with you about Joshua, Moses and Joshua. And with Joshua, after Moses died, God spoke to Joshua and is like, he was saying, he's like, lead the people across the Jordan River and possess the land. He gives him promises that he will be with him. He encourages Joshua to be strong and courageous. And he says, I will be with you. Like I was with Moses, I will be with you. And God is speaking to him, like, these things. And Joshua, he doesn't go across and just take the land right away. He sends out scouts. He sends out spies to go spy the land, to see what they're up against. And then, as they come back, the Lord sends Joshua, tells him to go and send the Ark of the Covenant, the priests, out into the Jordan River and to a certain point. And then he would stop the Jordan River would dry up, be like a wall, and they could walk across. So after this happened, when the Jordan River did dry up like a wall, it was held back. The Lord was with Joshua the same way he was with Moses. When Moses, with the Red Sea, they could walk across on dry land. And the same thing happened with Joshua, where they could walk across with dry land. He was moving on what God would say to him. He would move. He knew that he could ask, and if he did everything that the Lord was commanding him, these things would happen because God was going to be with him the same way as with Moses. And so after, when they went across, then the Lord was telling Joshua to get 12 men from every tribe, from the 12 tribes, and to grab a stone, 12 stones, and put them in the exact place where the priests came with the Ark of the Covenant and the water dried up. And they did. They put the rocks there, and God told them that it would be a memorial. It wasn't necessarily for just that generation, the generation that walked across on dry land. They all remember that. They all know that God is good. They all know that God is faithful, and he was faithful to them. But it was for the generations after. And this is exactly what God said in Joshua 4. Let's see, where do I want to start? I'll just start it in the 4th verse. And it says, so Joshua called together the 12 tribes he had chosen, one from each of the tribes of Israel. He told them, go in the middle of the Jordan in front, pick up one stone and carry it out on your shoulder. 12 stones in all, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. We will use these stones to build a memorial. In the future, your children will ask you, what do these stones mean? Then you can tell them, they're to remind us that the Jordan River stopped flowing when the Ark of the Lord's covenant went across. These stones will stand as a memorial among the people in Israel forever. And so the Lord was reminding me is that we need to make memorials. We need to set up stones in our life. These points in our life that are almost like mile markers, places that mark us. We need to set up stones in our life and share them with the generations that are coming after us. So what the Lord was reminding me is the power of testimony, the power of his story in your life. And I just encourage you, each one of you, to look back on your life and look at those memorials. Look at those places where God was moving in your life and set up a memorial. Set up these stones, these mile markers, these markers to see what God has done and share them with others. We, like the things of God, they're not not necessarily taught, they're caught. And a lot of the times when people would share their testimonies as I was growing up, I would catch things that God was doing in their life and understand certain things that they would do. I would understand more of the ways of God through their testimony and his story in their lives. This is something that the Lord told Joshua and that generation to remind the generations after that I am faithful. I was faithful for Moses. I was faithful to Joshua and to the children of Israel to possess the land as long as they were following my instructions. And he wants to do the same for us. I have children, but I don't want them to experience God. Now it's okay, but I want them to encounter him for themselves. I don't want them to encounter him through me. I want them to encounter him for themselves. Of course, they are going to have things through me, but they need to build their own story. They need to hear the stories that God has done things through me, through my my parents, through people that I know around me. They need to hear those stories. It builds up this faith to encounter God the same way. Childlike faith. Don't put any boundaries on children. The Lord spoke to me and did amazing things, raising fish from the dead. Whenever I just prayed a simple prayer of like, God, just bring the fish back to life so my daddy won't be so sad. That was the prayer that I prayed, and God brought the fish back to life. It's something has marked me. That's one of the stones that God has marked me in my life. And I want for my kids to encounter God and have stones that are also just these memorials of what God has done in their life, that they can build their story together with God and his story through their lives. So we need to do that also for our sons, our daughters, our nephews, our nieces. Just feel free to share those things that God has done in your life. And if you don't know what they are, take the time to just have some quietness with God and ask him to show you where his fingerprint was in your life. So I see that it's very, very important that his story in your life is being told. His story through our history is being told, because it's stirring up faith. It's showing these things are possible. And what I've been sensing these past few weeks is like a spirit of unbelief. It's just like, I feel like it's rising. And I feel like the Lord is wanting to encourage us, to instill faith in us, to believe him at his word, and to pass that faith on to everyone around us, to be free in sharing with the people that we love, the people that are in our lives. Share his story. It is when we share the things that he has done, it also brings in a spirit of faith, which is the testimony of Jesus Christ, is the testimony of his story in your life. There's a spirit of faith that is in the room, in the time, that they can encounter the same thing, because God is not a respecter of any person above another. So he can encounter you the same way he's encountered them. So stir up faith in one another, and just share your story with others. Get together with him, ask him, where's your fingerprint in my life? And write it down, because he wants us to raise up these memorials in our lives that others can ask, what do these things mean? And we say, God dried up the river so that we could walk across. And whatever he has done in your life, you can tell them, God did this so that I could do this. That God did this in my life, and he can do that in your life. So we got to strengthen one another. We got to build one another up in our most holy faith. And I pray that you guys are strengthened and encouraged by this word and the other word that the Lord was giving me. But you're never too young to encounter God. You're never too young to have that story already starting. So Samuel, he was like maybe around 3 or 4, when he was starting to encounter the Lord speaking to him. You're never too young. For me, my mile marker started when I was 5. So I just encourage you to encounter the Lord, to just come into this intimate place with him. Ask him what he has done, where he has been in your life, and just wait. Persevere, wait with expectation, because he's going to reveal it to you. The more specific questions that you ask him about his activity in your life, the more that he is going to answer those specifically. So he could choose different ways of answering you, but just wait with expectation, because he is going to answer you. Okay, be blessed, and I'll talk to you next week.